Welcome, everybody, to
Welcome.
Catchin. You know what, AJ? Now you're doing the intro.
Oh my god. Hi, everybody. How are you? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. 2 weeks.
Alright, it has been 2 weeks since we've done Catching Up with Ketchum.
But we are back.
And we aren't doing 6 episodes, we're just doing 3.
Yeah, sorry, you're not catching up for lost time.
Yeah, and it's episodes 10, 11, and 12, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
This is episode 4 of Catching Up with Ketchum, but we are covering episodes 10, 11, and 12. We are finishing the first season. So we will, the last episode we go over here is the season finale.
Was it really?
Until next week. Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
well, that explains everything.
As usual, if you like it, go like the video, subscribe if you want to keep up, and leave us a comment on what you thought about these episodes. So, Let's get into it. We start off with episode 10, A Test in Paradise. So it starts out, and there's a news report about Dragonite, like saving sailors or what have you. So we find out that from Professor Cerise that this is something that Dragonites always kind of do. They like save people from shipwrecks and everything.
Yeah, that was also something that I learned.
Yeah, and they talk about how Ren was talking, the research assistant was talking about how like Dragonite in the wild is so rare that like almost nobody's ever seen them.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I thought was interesting. Ash has seen Dragonite before, so I don't know why he is that surprised. But anyways, we're not going to get into the continuity stuff.
Yeah.
So Ash basically decides he wants to go see them, and there's a rumor of an island of Dragonite. And then Go, in like 2 seconds, finds out where this mysterious Dragonite island that nobody can find is, like, in a second. By, like, tracing all of the shipwrecks that they've been saving people from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how stupid are the people in this world that a 10-year-old just dumped on them?
That was funny, though, because he, like, whipped that out, like, real quick.
Yeah. He was literally, like, they were talking, and he was like, and while they're talking about dragons, like, don't worry, I found them. So then the theme song started, and it's still a bop, and I missed it. So I got excited to hear it again. And then, so they decide they're off on their way to go to Dragonite Island, and Go has a suitcase that is filled with so many Pokeballs. And then he decides that he wants to catch a dugong. So
I can't act like nothing happened.
What?
If you see a little jump in the clip, my internet went out while we were recording because I'm an idiot. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there may be a weird edit in there.
He wanted to catch
Dugong,
which was great.
Yeah. So and then we find out that Team Rocket is here for the Dragonite as well. Just coincidence. They happen to be looking for the Dragonite too. So Go does find a dugong, and he tries to catch it over and over and over again, but the dugong is just like, he's just like messing with him. Like the dugong's just like, meh, just keeps breaking out. But then it jump cuts, and he did catch it eventually. But again, just weaken it, dumbass. Like you could have caught it so much easier. But I get it.
That was nice. Go. Yeah, that was nice seeing him like not be able to catch it.
I get it. His name is Go, like Pokemon Go. But I'm like,
calm down.
You wouldn't have to use so many Pokeballs. So then Ash and Go, they're riding Dugong, like looking for Dragonite Island. But then this Dugong, who's pretty funny, honestly. The Dugong like falls in love with this other Dugong. And so he just starts like chasing it with like hard eyes and everything.
Yeah.
But they end up like getting lost in a storm from chasing it.
I thought it was funny how they put like eyelashes on her.
Yeah.
They turned around and was like,
Yeah, no, it was a good scene. I liked his dugong a lot.
Mhm.
So they end up getting like hit by a thunderbolt and pass out basically, but Dragonite shows up and saves them. Oh,
Let's not forget about Pikachu.
you tell them what Pikachu did.
Pikachu tried to stop the lightning, but it did not work.
It was too much lightning, even
Yeah.
for the electric mouse. So Dragonite ends up showing up to save them. So they ended up finding the Dragonite pretty easily. So Go wants to catch a Dragonite, but if we find out that he used every single one of those Pokeballs that he brought,
Yeah.
and we also find out that Dugong is missing, which Go feels pretty bad about. So the Rotom phone basically tells them that they're lost AF and that it has no idea where they are.
Yeah.
So
I will say one thing that had started was when they like landed on the beach and the Dragonite was like poking him to wake him up. I was like, I think like I like Dragonite a lot more now. I don't know why, but it's just like that backstory of them just like saving people is like super cool to me.
I've always loved Dragonite, and this episode was a good like we go around Dragonite Island next, and there's just like Dragonites like laying down like on logs chilling and taking naps. There's like Dragonites like near trees getting fruit out, and they're just like it's just like a chill Dragonite Island. So
Yeah.
then we end up in a field where there's like 3 Dragonair, and they're like they've got like their little like orbs on their necks and tails, and they're just like clanging them against each other, and then they all start to fly, and they're doing flips and stuff in the air. And it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, why did I never think Dragonair was cool? Because I was like, this Pokemon is like a flying eel basically with a horn.
Yeah,
And it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with Dragonair. Dragonair's always kind of fallen into the background for me because of Dragonite.
Yeah.
But Dragonair's cool. Like you find out later that they're doing Dragon Dance, but yeah, it's just a cool scene. So then Scorbunny shows up and is wearing a Dratini skin around its head, and it made me want to throw up because I thought it was really gross. But I will say Scorbunny looked adorable.
Yeah.
But bleh, I don't want to wear anything skin. So then they find a whole bunch of little Dratini skins, and they all look like little ghosts. So then I kind of thought they were cute because they looked like little ghosts.
Yeah.
So, and then Ash and Go actually basically are talking, and we find out that a lot of people use Dratini skins for like clothes in the Pokemon world. So, I mean, I guess it's like leather. Like, what's the difference? So, other than the Dratini doesn't have to die first.
Yeah.
So, also, I really liked here how they address how Dragonair and Dratini look nothing like Dragonite. It's never like that.
Yeah.
The leap from those two to Dragonite has never made sense. And I like how they basically are both like, it would make more sense for like Dratini and Dragonair to evolve into like Milotic instead of Dragonite. But we find out that Dragonair can control the weather, and that's what created the massive storm, and that's what keeps everybody away from Dragonite Island. But then I also thought, and I don't know if you thought this at all, I was like, if the Dragonair are making the giant storm that protects Dragonite Island, aren't they also causing a lot of the shipwrecks that they're having to save people from?
Yes. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that was a good catch.
Yeah, I was like,
they're like, well, gotta keep them entertained.
But so the Dragonite all kind of like get a sense like something's wrong, and all the Dragonite fly off. But there's been a Dragonair that's been with Go, and so there's been like a Dragonair and a Dragonite that have been with Go and Ash just walking around. And we find out that the Dragonair can't fly, and it's like super sad about it. Like it's like trying so hard
Yeah.
to take off with the Dragonite, but no dice. So Ash basically decides that he's going to train it by going in front of it and jumping up and down and waving his arms and saying,
Might
"Fly,
I
Dragonite!"
I put this down in my notes. I was like, why did he even reach out his hand? It has nothing to even reach out to him with.
Yeah, it's a funny little scene.
Yeah.
So, during the training, they do end up figuring out that, like I said earlier, Dragon Dance is what those Dragonair did when they started flying.
Mhm.
So they decide that Dragon Dance is what Dragonair needs to fly. So Ash is stupid and has Pikachu make a trampoline out of Electroweb and then jumps on it like it's not going to shock him. But it shocks the hell out of him a whole bunch of times. But there is like kind of this feeling of like he's sacrificing himself to teach Dragonair how to fly by jumping on this electric trampoline. So he gets electrocuted over and over again. And I thought he was an idiot. And then Dragonair starts jumping on it too and also getting shocked. So I guess it starts gaining experience from this electric trampoline thing was more of a sight thing than it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But Dragonair does eventually learn Dragon Dance by getting electrocuted on this Electroweb enough times. So, and I thought this was cool. They showed that when Dragonair starts to fly, it's like its little ear
wings,
things like turn into wings. So that was cool. And then Dugong just shows up. He's just like chilling on the beach by a rock and is like still all lovesick, like he's thinking about that other Dugong. So Dragonair flies off to catch up with the Dragonite. But Ash figures out he can't ride it because it's too slippery, I guess because it's like a snake. So he tries to grab it and he like falls off it. So they decide to just ride Dugong there while Dragonair flies to catch up with the other Dragonite. So we find out that the reason all the Dragonite left is because their Team Rocket faked a shipwreck so they could capture the Dragonite, which they do. They have all the Dragonite captured. So
well, they only have one.
That's true. Where were the other Dragonite?
I don't know.
Because a bunch of them flew off.
Well, a bunch of them flew off, and then that one Dragonite stayed with the Dragonair to try and teach you how to fly. And then he was like, you can't fly. You're a loser. And then flew off.
I also thought he was a jerk for that. I was like, okay. I thought you were friends. But, I don't know where all the rest of the Dragonite are. But you're right. It was only one. So then the sweet capsule machine is back. And Team Rocket uses it. But they only get one Pokeball this time instead of two. But in this Pokeball is Wailord, the second biggest Pokemon in the Pokemon universe.
Yeah.
After Eternatus. So it's the largest non-legendary Pokemon, and it is huge. It's like so massive. All it knows is Splash, but like it's like making everything go crazy.
Yeah.
So they end up, the Wailord is using Splash so much that it ends up making a Whirlpool. It doesn't use the move Whirlpool. It just makes a Whirlpool by splashing. And so Ash starts to like fall into it and like dude's gonna die. So Dragonair.
Was it a Whirlpool or was it like a, what do you call those? Oh, why is it blanking on me? It's like when the tornado goes over the water.
A water spout?
Yeah.
Was it a water spout?
It went into the air.
Oh. Maybe it was the up top angle that it took when Ash was falling into it that made it look like a whirlpool to me.
Or maybe it was a whirlpool. I don't know.
You might be right. But anyways, Ash starts falling into a dangerous, twisty set of water, regardless. And Dragonair decides to go save him, and Dragonair like flies down to go save him, and Ash tries to grab on, but again, he's too slippery, and Ash slides off and is falling to his doom. But then Dragonair evolves so that it can grab Ash.
Which
And
was
so,
like the coolest thing ever. It
yeah.
really was. I was like so hype on that.
Yeah, so Dragonite evolves, or Dragonair evolves into Dragonite, saves Ash, and then Dragonite sends Team Rocket blasting off. Um, so Ash and Go are like, literally, it was like so quick. Go and Ash were like, well, guess it's time to go. See ya. And Dragonite doesn't want them to leave without him. So Go's like, hey, Ash, I think Dragonite wants to be your Pokemon. So Ash finally makes his first catch 10 episodes in.
Yeah.
And he catches a freaking Dragonite, which is sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what's in store with Dragonite. They also decide, well, Ash basically, they're like, oh, I guess we figured out the reason why Dragonair evolved into Dragonite, so they can rescue people by grabbing them.
Yeah.
And Go's like,
Sure.
yeah, sure. That was my response to it as well. Ash said it, and I was like, I was like, okay, Go. So then they go back to Professor Cerise's lab, and they all basically decide they're not going to tell anybody where Dragonite Island is, even though a 10-year-old found it in 5 minutes. But
And Dragonite gets super excited.
yeah, we find out Dragonite's a big hugger, and we'll find out more about that later. So that is the end of the first episode, episode 10, and now we're moving into episode 11. And this one is Best Friend, Worst Nightmare, and is the episode AJ and I have been waiting on for this whole time, because this is the Chloe episode.
Yep.
So I have a lot of feelings about this episode in multiple ways, good and bad, but
Okay.
let's just get into it. We'll talk about it at the end when we recap. So basically, we start out, Chloe's alarm goes off and Yamper hears it. This episode also has a lot of Yamper being super cute, so you may hear me talk a lot about Yamper being cute.
Yeah.
So Yamper is basically like trying to wake Chloe up, but we find out Chloe is not much of a morning person. So Yamper runs off and basically gets Chloe's mom, who I think this is the first time we've seen her, right?
And she is hot, dude. Oh my god.
AJ's got a new weeb crush.
I was like, dang, dude, they got a hot mom.
So, and I think this is the first time we've seen her brother too. And I was like, where have these people been for 10 episodes? But I guess the lab is separate from the house. So,
Yep.
But it still felt weird that like they just happened to never see these two until now. But Chloe's mom ends up waking her up by threatening not to do her hair in the morning, and Chloe like gets up and we find out that her hair is like
Actually
massive.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's basically like, Mom, I can't go anywhere unless you fix my hair. So she gets up and has breakfast, and first things first, she has pancakes with a side of broccoli.
Was that what it was?
Yes, it was broccoli. Why? Why is that a thing? Who eats broccoli for breakfast? So, although my dad did make spinach pancakes once, so, but my dad eats a lot of gross stuff. So, Yamper, basically we find out here that Yamper won't eat any Pokemon food unless Chloe feeds it to Yamper. And then we find out even more, they go into it, that like Yamper has like this special connection with Chloe and loves Chloe more than anybody else in the house. And they even list out Yamper's favorite people, and Professor Cerise is last. So, but yeah, it like is super connected to Chloe. And then so Professor Cerise drives Chloe to school, and Yamper has an adorable car seat in the car, and it's just super cute.
Yeah.
And yeah. So.
I remember she like grabbed Yamper and I was like, she's putting him in a car seat, and it's the best thing ever.
Yes. It's so cute. So then we cut to Ash and Go are in the Pokemon lab, and You know what? Before we get to all the recaps, I will just say this was my main issue with this episode is that I wish, even though I like a lot of the stuff that happens in this other plot, I wish it had just focused on Chloe. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I wish that these were two different episodes.
Yeah.
So she gets good screen time, but she doesn't get enough of it, as is tradition in the show so far. But let's jump back into it. So it was pretty cool seeing all of Go's Pokemon that he caught in Professor Cerise's lab, because they're all Pokemon that we've seen him catch so far, which was cool. It's like, oh, hey, it's the Taillow we caught, and the Wurmples, and the Stantler. So we basically see this like showdown between Ash's Dragonite and Go's Stantler and Scyther. And Go is like, oh no, something bad's about to happen. Let's go stop them. And Ash is like, no. We're good. And then Dragonite is like all superimposing in shadow, like coming up to them. And then he just gives them huge hugs.
Yeah.
And at first they're like, what? And then they're like all happy and like hard eyes and everything.
Yeah.
It was just wholesome. So it was cute. And then what wasn't as cute though was Go's Taillow definitely tries to eat his Wurmple.
Yeah.
The 3 Wurmple that he caught in the Hoenn region. And then they basically all 3 of them evolved to protect themselves from Taillow. And for anybody that doesn't know, in the games, if your Wurmple evolves, it can evolve either into Silcoon or Cascoon. So it has a split evolutionary method. So Go's like, well, I caught all 3 so that I can make sure that hopefully one of them becomes a Silcoon and the other becomes a Cascoon. But they all 3 evolve into Cascoon.
It's hilarious.
Go is not happy about it, but then the Cascoon all like come over to him and are all sweet, and he's like, okay, well, I guess it's
yeah.
But yeah, no, they all evolved into Cascoon, and I was like, that's my luck right there. So the power goes out at the lab, and Ren, the lab assistant, am I right? His name was Ren, right?
I think so.
They never said it again in these episodes, but I thought I remembered it being Ren.
I think it's Ren and then
Krissa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm wrong and it's not Ren, let me know how stupid I am in the comments. But Ren decides to go to the basement to check the fuse box, and the basement's creepy, and Ren is being like followed by something. First you see its eyes in the mirror, and at this point I knew immediately what it was. But so it's chasing, it's like stalking Ren around. You don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
And then Ren, and this is going to be great for our personal friend group.
Yeah.
Ren sends out a Magnemite whose name is Francois.
Yeah. I was dying. I was like, I yelled, my God.
Frankie, you have to come in here. And he comes in, and I was like, you have to watch this. And he's like, come on, Francois. And he's like, and then it comes out, and it's Magnemite, and he goes, oh, lame Pokemon. And I was like, you better put some respect on Magnemite's name. But yeah, the Magnemite's name is Francois, and it was too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this is the only nicknamed Pokemon we've seen so far, and it happened to be Francois.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So, our friend Frankie, he goes by Francois on a lot of stuff. So, Frankie was not impressed that he was a Magnemite. So, it turns out that the basement is haunted by Gengar, which obviously very happy about, because Gengar has made an appearance. My personal favorite Pokemon. And it ends up wrecking Ren and Francois. It uses like beams from its eyes and just like completely obliterates them. So Ash and Go, so we cut back to Ash and Go now. There's a lot of cutting back and forth in this episode.
Yeah.
Ash and Go decide that they want to show Chloe their Pokemon, Dragonite and the Cascoons, I believe. And so they go to show Chloe their Pokemon, but Chloe's like, no, I gotta go to school. Bye. And again, I just have to wonder why Chloe has to go to school. But Yamper's like super bummed that Chloe's leaving. He's just like gets so sad. And then Ash and Go kind of have a conversation where they basically Go is like, yeah, because Ash is like, she doesn't really seem to like Pokemon that much. And Go basically is like, she didn't used to be like that, but at some point, yeah, she just doesn't really seem to be into Pokemon anymore.
Yeah, she. So here's my theory on why she has to go to school. And it has to do with when she's at school. So if you want to get to that part, then I can get into it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get there soon. So, Professor Cerise and was that Krissa that shows up?
Yeah, Krista was the one who was like, you better hurry up.
Yeah, well, they never said her name, and I kind of forgot what she looked like, and I was like, is that Krissa? And I was like, I guess, so cool. So they end up, Professor Cerise and Krissa decide to go to the basement because Magnemite shows up, and it's like got like stuff draped all over it. So at first they think it's the ghost, but it's not. So they go downstairs, and Ren looks like he watched the Grudge video. Like he's like completely frozen on the floor and just like so. Gengar does show back up and Yamper attacks it, but it's just like bapped away. Like Gengar did not care. So oh yeah, so Ash and Go show up at this point and they kind of encounter the Gengar too. And Gengar and Pikachu decide to throw down basically. So Gengar and Pikachu fight, and there's a lot of cool effects. There's like Gengar's like making everything levitate, like Poltergeist and everything. But in the end, Pikachu does defeat it. Like slams it against the wall. So
yeah, and then it like goes invisible.
Yeah, that's so Gengar does that a lot. It just like goes invisible and runs. So now we are at Chloe back at school. So I did right. We finally see Chloe at school, which I still don't get why anyone is here. But now we're going to have AJ explain why he thinks people are here.
So if you have noticed, right, when they ask, like the teacher starts off there at school and they're like, let's talk about what everybody wants to be when they grow up, basically. And then the kid's like, I don't know. And then she's like, how about you, Chloe? And Chloe has like, at this young age, the like fear of like not knowing what you're gonna do in life, basically. And
Yep.
what I've come to find out is nobody in this class has any idea what they want to be. But Ash and Go are already on the road to become like Pokemon masters, basically Pokemon trainers. So that's why they're not in school, because they already have a route that they're taking.
It's like,
that's
what?
my thing.
But what kid doesn't want to be a Pokemon trainer?
Yeah.
But no, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like for the kids that don't, or maybe their parents don't want them to be Pokemon trainers. Or...
Yeah. But that's what I was getting. That I don't know.
Yeah. It is a cool scene though. Yeah, like all of her classmates are like pestering her, like, "Oh, you're just gonna be a Pokemon researcher, just like your dad." And she's like, I don't know that I want to be a Pokemon researcher.
I don't know why, but like that scene of them like berating her about that is like it's like a deep scene. Like it was for me at least.
Well, and I think the scene which is next, the scene with her mom is also like that's why I didn't like that we had to keep cutting back to this other plot with Gengar and Go and Ash. Is just like I just wanted more of this Chloe stuff because it was really good. Yeah. So her mom basically shows up and is like, "Hey, you forgot your lunch, so here you go." And then she like sees that Chloe's like down, so she's like, "All right, let's go eat lunch." So they eat lunch and Chloe tells her about like her bad day, and she's like, I don't know what I want to do, and I don't want everybody telling me I have to be a Pokemon professor. And this is where I was like, damn, Chloe's mom is cool. Yeah. Like, her mom is literally just like, you can be whatever you want. Like, don't listen to these people. I'm an illustrator, and like, I am not even a good illustrator.
Yeah.
I just do it because it's fun. Like, she even is like, I never made any money off of illustration, really. I just like doing it. And then we do get kind of a backstory of like how her and Professor Charisse like met. She basically was like, I don't know that I want to be an illustrator anymore because it's not like who's an illustrator for a career. And Professor Charisse is basically like, you're so happy illustrating, like, don't give up, like, just keep doing it. And then there is this cool scene where Chloe's like, wow, so dad is the you became an illustrator because dad told you to? And Chloe's mom is like, no. I became an illustrator because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I will say he was right that I'm happy illustrating.
No, it's like, it was so funny, dude. I love that so much.
Yeah, because when Chloe said that, I was like, oh, I don't like that way. And then her mom was like, no.
Actually, you're your own woman.
I do what I want, and I want to be an illustrator. So, yeah, that whole scene with Chloe, everything with Chloe at school and her mom was my favorite parts of the episode. Maybe my favorite stuff that's happened in the whole show.
I do want to put this out there, is that this anime does a really good job so far, now that we're getting further into it, of like making strong like female characters.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like
I want more Chloe, please.
Yeah. So it was just like when you see her mom, it was like really nice to see that.
Yeah. No, her mom was super cool, and I'm like, please be in the show more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just it was really, all of that stuff was so good, and I can't believe I was like, boy, I really don't want to cut back to this stuff with Gengar anymore. Like, it was so good that it overshadowed my favorite Pokemon being in the show.
Yeah.
So we do cut back to Ash and Go. They're looking for Gengar, and then they see it, and Go just like throws a million Pokeballs at it, but it doesn't catch it.
Yeah.
So then Pikachu and Gengar end up in a battle. And Pikachu straight up cuts a Shadow Ball in half. I don't understand how that happens. Like, literally, Gengar uses Shadow Ball, and Pikachu breaks it in half.
Yep.
It was cool, but I was like, how does that work? So
a lot of things are like that with Pikachu. Honestly.
True. So Chloe gets home, and our stories kind of converge finally.
Yeah.
Chloe gets home, and Yamper runs over to her, is so happy. So Gengar appears, and I don't know if you caught on this too. When Gengar sees Yamper and Chloe together, he gets like mad. Like, he's like jealous that, I don't know, spoiler alert, they don't go into that yet.
Yeah.
But Gengar appears to get jealous at the bond between Chloe and Yamper. So Gengar basically throws a Shadow Ball straight at Chloe, but Yamper like jumps in the way and takes the hit for her. And Professor Cerise shows up and is like, Yamper, like, use Spark. And Yamper is just like growling at Gengar and won't listen to Professor Cerise. And he's like, Yamper, use Spark. And it's not happening. It's not happening. Yamper's not listening to it. So Professor Cerise is finally like, Chloe, you have to tell Yamper to use Spark.
Yeah.
Like, it's only going to listen to you. Like, tell it to use Spark. So Chloe, after like a minute of kind of like taking it all in, she finally does tell Yamper to use Spark. And Yamper sends this Gengar
it was like the coolest animation ever. You like see this little tiny electric puppy flying through the air.
Gengar goes flying out the door, to the point that like they're like, well, he's gone. Like, so after everything calms down, Ash and Go are like in their room, and they both decide that they're gonna compete to catch this Gengar the next time they see it, which I thought was cool. I was like, okay, cool. So this Gengar is gonna be like a recurring character. So, and then we get this super cool image of Gengar. There's like this giant blood red moon over the the lab, and right up on like the very top of the lab is just Gengar standing there with the blood moon behind it, and it's such a cool scene.
Yeah.
It looked like something straight out of Bloodborne, honestly.
It was like super cool.
Yeah. So
But it does
that was
show that like that lab is haunted, which is like even cooler.
Yeah.
And it's haunted by Gengar.
Yeah.
Which is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And I'm happy to know that Gengar will be back. So yeah, that was that episode. We'll get into it at the recap. So now we move into episode 12, Flash of the Titans. I'm just going to tell you all right now, there is a part of this episode that's like just a giant Pokemon battle. So it's going to be hard to describe.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do my best. This recap is probably going to be the shortest out of all of them because a lot of it is a giant battle.
It's just very cut and dry.
Yeah. It's cool to watch, but like it's hard to describe. So basically we start out and Professor Cerise gives Ash and Go tickets to the World Coronation Series in Galar. Ash has no idea what this is, so they explain it to him that basically this tournament invites the strongest trainers in the world to compete to figure out who the strongest is. It's not just the strongest in a region. This is supposed to be the strongest trainers from every region. So Ash and Go basically hop on another flight to the Galar region, which I noticed, I feel like they don't fly anywhere but Galar. I feel like, no, because they took a train to Galar the first time. Never mind. Where did they fly to? I don't remember. They fly I think they've only flown twice. Yeah. But I just remember it because I think it's just weird seeing Pokemon characters on like a commercial airline flight.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just always thought like you live in a world with all these flying type Pokemon. I guess I just always thought everybody just flew around on their Pokemon. But anyways, they're on the flight to Galar and something goes wrong with the plane and the lights go out and the pilot is like, oh, we're losing electricity. And I'm not going to lie, this scene gave me anxiety. I did not like it. I'm just to pull back the curtain here. I do not like flying at all. I do it. I'll never let it stop me from going places, but I am miserable the whole time. Like usually it's just me like clutching my seat, like my armrest as hard as I can. So yeah, I didn't like that part. But so we end up, they look out the window and they see this like Pokemon like snaking through the clouds. And there's like electric, like Dynamax energy coming off of it too. And no one on the plane is able to identify it, but it's very clearly Eternatus. So, but they don't know who Eternatus is. So,
yeah.
It was definitely Eternatus though. So then they arrive at the stadium and Go is like, it's in my name. I'm going to go catch some Pokemon now. And Ash is like, no, you're not. We're going to go catch this battle. So this is where we find out that Team Rocket is here in the stands also. So after, I believe we didn't have any Team Rocket in the last Catching Up With Ketchum, we got 2 out of 3 this time. So Team Rocket's there. They decide they're going to catch Pokemon. And Team Rocket doing Team Rocket things. So
let's also not skip over Meowth's attire that he's wearing.
Yeah, it is great. Isn't he wearing like a?
He's wearing a beanie and a turtleneck.
Yeah, Wobbuffet's also dressed funny too. Yeah. So, we find out that the finals, because the tickets that Ash and Go have are the finals of the Coronation Series, and we find out that the finals are between the champion of the Johto region, Lance, and Leon, the champion of the Galar region. We also find out, if you haven't played the games, that Leon is undefeated. So, more continuity things that I'm gonna nitpick here. Ash has definitely met Lance before, but he doesn't. He's just like, hey, that's Lance, the champion, and I'm like, you've met him, like, okay. So then the moment that AJ has been waiting for arrives, and we find out that Dan is the ref of the match.
For
AJ's
anybody,
favorite Pokemon card.
For anybody that doesn't know, I don't know what expansion he's from, but it is just like the best card ever. Like from it, because it's just like Dan. I think that's all it is. It says Dan, and then it just says goofy self on the card.
Yeah, he's got like a blonde mustache.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him, I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, AJ's gonna be so happy." Dan. When Dan gets a full art, AJ's gonna lose.
Yeah, I'm probably not even gonna wait to pull it. I'm probably just gonna buy it.
Yeah. So Lance and Leon start. Okay, Leon is mostly shit talking Lance. Lance is kind of calmer about it, but Leon's like, they don't call me undefeated for nothing.
I'm about to catch these hands.
Sorry, bro. One of us guy has to lose, and might as well be you.
I have a fancy cape and leggings under my shorts.
Yeah, and a fitted with a crown on it when you poke it up. So they decide. So they go to battle, and Leon uses his signature Charizard, and Lance uses his red Gyarados. So
which I'm kind of confused about, because isn't red Gyarados also used as shiny Gyarados?
So red Gyarados is Lance's Gyarados is a shiny Gyarados. Okay. He basically if we ever get that far in Pokemon Crystal, you'll see when you get to the Lake of Rage towards the end, there is a red Gyarados that the game it's a static encounter. It's, I believe, the only shiny Pokemon that they just give you in a Pokemon game. Yeah, you can catch a red Gyarados in Gold, Crystal, and Silver. And Lance is the champion of that region, so it makes sense. But I also do believe in the anime, correct me if I'm wrong, when Ash meets Lance and everything, I believe Lance catches the red Gyarados in the anime during that arc, which, again, Ash probably should be like, hey, I remember when Lance caught that, but maybe I'm wrong. But so the battle starts between Lance and Leon, and this is where I'm going to do my best, everybody. I'm going to do a play-by-play of the battle. So Gyarados starts off with Hyper Beam, but Charizard dodges it. They first use Hyper Beam and Flamethrower, and they're anime lock those, but the Hyper Beam goes through. Hyper Beam, also a move that's much better in the anime than it is in the games. So Leon keeps using he keeps telling his Charizard to use Flamethrower, and I'm like, Gyarados is a water type? What? Why? But anyways, Gyarados powers up with a move that we saw a couple episodes ago. Powers up with Dragon Dance. So he powers up with Dragon Dance and then uses Aqua Tail on Charizard. And this actually does kind of mess Charizard up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then Gyarados wraps up Charizard and just keeps using Ice Fang on it. There was a lot of times in this where they both just ordered their Pokemon to do something repeatedly.
Yeah.
Use Ice Fang repeatedly.
Yeah.
Use Aqua Tail repeatedly. Use Thunder Punch repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the anime doesn't follow the rules. So
I was like, that would be great if I could do that in the game.
Yeah. No, you just get to skip their turn.
Yeah.
So Charizard, this is where we find out that Charizard knows Thunder Punch and it uses it on Gyarados, which 4 times effective. So
it looks amazing too. I loved it.
Yeah. And it messes up Gyarados pretty bad. He's not down though. So then they both are like, all right, well, time to get serious. And they both withdraw their Pokemon, and then their Dynamax bands go off, and they throw out, for Lance, his Dynamax Gyarados, and Leon uses his Gigantamax Charizard. So,
which was really cool seeing that. because it's like you see the card all the time, and then you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Oh no. So Pokemon in general gives Charizard a little bit too much love,
Hmm.
but like, God, you got to admit that Gigantamax Charizard looks pretty good.
Yeah.
They do end up starting to fight, and this is when Charizard uses Max Lightning. Because it has Thunder Punch, it gets Max Lightning, which messes Gyarados up. So if in the beginning, like me, you were like, why is Leon using a Charizard against a Gyarados? This is why. Um, and it's his ace Pokemon, so he's got to use Charizard. But so Gyarados fights back, but he takes a bunch of like max moves, like Max Lightning and everything, and then finally he uses G Max Wildfire on him, and then he ends up it's pretty cool. G Max Wildfire is like a giant bird, like a giant flaming bird, and first Gyarados like blocks it, but then it comes back around again, and then it ends up
smacking him,
and that's the end of the battle. Gyarados is down, and Leon is the strongest trainer in the world.
And Dan says Gyarados can't fight anymore.
Dan flies over on Aegislash and then goes, Gyarados is unable to battle. And AJ's dreams came true when Dan got to talk more. So we find out that Lance trained with Raihan in the Dragon Gym, which was cool. I didn't know that. So then Ash basically decides, I want to fight Leon. That's what I want to do. So Leon is like much more gracious in defeat than he was before the match. So then Team Rocket has a Rotom phone that talks really weird. I don't understand where this thing came from. It's like an all black Rotom phone.
It's like a bootleg Rotom phone.
Yeah, and it talks in this weird voice, like it's got a weird wisp, and I don't understand what it's doing. It's like also like talking in like baby talk, so like it's weird. But anyways, they see a Dreadnought, and that's why they pull it out. They're like, "Whoa, what the heck is that?" So they decide, let's catch it. We're Team Rocket. Let's do it. So they summon the capsule machine, and the capsule machine gives them a Bellsprout.
Yeah, which, oh my god. We can get into it.
Yeah. So at first they're like, Bellsprout? Really? But then the Bellsprout's a boss.
Yeah.
It just ends up like just starting to wreck this Dreadnought. But then the Dreadnought Gigantamaxes. Or Gigantamaxes.
Yeah. It was because the Bellsprout hit the ground, and like in the game, if you see that little thing, isn't it like that in the game? Like you see the light coming from the ground, that's what that means. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dynamax or the Gigantamax. So yeah, they end up it Gigantamaxes and starts like wreaking havoc on the stadium, and that was the end because we ended on a cliffhanger. Yep. So the first season ends on our first cliffhanger of the series so far. But yeah, those were the 3 episodes. Like I said, the last one was quick just because so much of it was battling. So anyways, yeah, what were your thoughts on those episodes? What did you think? What was your favorite? What didn't you like?
My favorite was episode 11.
Yes, I agree. Episode 11 was my favorite episode.
I honestly can probably say it's probably been my favorite episode out of the season as well. So
I would agree with that. Again, I wish it was 2 different episodes. I wanted more Chloe.
Yeah.
And I still wanted the Gengar stuff. I just didn't want it there.
I can see, my thing is like I can understand what they were doing.
Yeah,
but it was just like
maybe if they give us more Chloe going forward, I'll feel better about it. But like Chloe's own episode, she had to split with somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, we all know where this is going, but yeah.
Where's it going?
she's gonna be a Pokemon trainer.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope she goes with them or something
Yeah.
because I want more Chloe. Chloe's mom was the MVP of the episodes. So, honestly,
Yamper was the MVP.
Yamper's adorable. Yamper's so cute. I really liked episode 11. The other two episodes I was more mixed on. The last one was cool because watching the battle was cool, but like
that was it.
There's just not a lot to talk about other than the fact that there was a giant Pokemon battle, which is cool, but
like here's how to put it.
It was cool to just see two champions go at it.
Yeah.
But
the way that I look at it is like you have episode 10 and it was like really cool because of like Dragonite and Dragonair and like seeing all that happen. But like so much happened in episode 11 that was like important.
Yeah, episode 10 was good, but I will say there were some parts in the middle that I was like,
okay,
can we move on?
Yeah.
Like, can we keep going?
Yeah.
There were some parts that lagged in that episode for me.
And then you get to episode 12, and episode 12 it's like, just, it's a fight.
Episode 12 was kind of the opposite of episode 10 for me, where episode 12 felt like it was over. And this is a funny pun because episode's Flash of the Titans, but it was over in a flash.
Yeah.
And like it ended when Dreadnought was attacking the stadium, and it ended. I was surprised. I was like, wait, what? Like, because I didn't realize that it was that close to the end. That episode was cool though. I don't want to give it too much flack for just being a battle.
Oh yeah, it was a good episode, but
it was a cool battle.
Dude, a lot for them to understand, they would have to watch episode 11 because it was like when you watch a show and everybody's like, "This is the episode. Like this is the episode right here."
That's the one.
Yeah,
I agree. That's the one. I also felt like it was nice having Ash catch a Pokemon finally, because that's been like. So I do like the whole thing of them like jumping region to region and solving these other problems, but I have kind of missed the Ash travels around the region, catching Pokemon and defeating gym leaders aspect of it. And I felt like catching Dragonite finally like kind of felt like Ash was like, okay, Ash finally did. Like, what has Ash done these entire 10 episodes before catching Dragonite? Like, what has Ash done?
He's just kind of there. Yeah.
He just goes with Go while Go does stuff. And, like, I know that it's a lot of us getting introduced to Go, but, like, Ash has done nothing until now. So, it was good having Ash finally catch a Pokemon. So, yeah. I don't think anybody needs to hear us harp on episode 11 anymore.
Yeah.
But if you're watching with us, I hope you like that episode as much as we did. So I think that's it. I would say episode 11, episode 12, episode 10.
Yeah.
Episode 10 is not bad. But it wasn't my favorite.
Right.
It's kind of slow. So. Well, I think that's it, everybody. You got any final thoughts on these episodes, AJ? Anything you're looking forward to in season 2?
More Chloe.
I want more Chloe.
And her mom.
And I want more of this Gengar, too. Yes, and you've got your new waifu.
Chloe's mom's cool. And
her mom is cool.
Yeah.
Her mom's a boss.
That's all I've got.
All right, maybe more Dan, too, if we get more
I would love, And I love that he's like the ref at like the greatest fighting that there is.
Well, the greatest ref has to be at the greatest showdown. So
it's like at the Super Bowl, they get all the good refs,
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Well, if you want to catch up, if you want to keep up with us, we'll be watching episodes 13, 14, and 15 for next week. And then, if you liked it, hit the like. Want to call us dumb? Comment down below. Subscribe to keep up. But I think that's it for Catching Up with Ketchum, episode 4.
Episode
4. We will be going to episode 5 and season 2 next week.
Yep.
And hope to see you guys there. Hopefully you guys keep up, and bye-bye.
See ya.